What's up, everybody? This is BeeZak, and we're going to jump into a traditional Theros Beyond Death draft on MTG Arena. Let's dive right in. Okay, well, right off the bat, we have a pretty good rare in E2 Extinction. It's not a bomb, obviously, but it deals with pretty much anything that's going to be a problem. Second best card is... I honestly really don't know. Maybe Witness of Tomorrows. Honestly, not a really strong pack, and I also like that we're taking one of the only black cards here. Black, obviously, the best color in the format, so really nice to start with that. It's also very splashable, which helps a lot. Love both of these. Blight Breath is a great card too. Omen of the Sea, always happy with. Acolyte of Affliction is probably the actual best card in the pack. But I think I'm pretty happy following this E2 Extinction with a Timuret and working to cut off black. E2 Extinction leads itself pretty well to a controlling deck. Timuret does as well. So yeah, pretty happy with that pick. Archon is a great card, and the only challenge I have with it is the mana cost. Well, if one Timuret's good, how about two? My answer is actually probably okay, though where I get nervous is sometimes in these arena drafts, you'll end up with way too many of one legendary card. Still think it's better than Runescarred Berserker. Voracious Typhon is probably the best card in the pack overall, and likely the one I should take. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, what do we have here? Well, pretty easy pick with Warbriar Blessing. Best green common in my opinion, and there's nothing here that's like crazy for us. Siona is a great card, but it's two colors that we're halfway in, and I don't think Omen of the Hunt's a very good card, so we'll just take this Warbriar and be pretty happy with it. Alright. Commanding Presence is interesting, and it makes me want to start to switch. I know there's not a ton of signal reading that you can actually do in Theros, but normally if this was a normal draft, I would snap this Commanding Presence. I think it's an incredibly powerful card, though it is a lot better if you have flyers. That said, we just got past a green-white uncommon that was strong, and are moving into green pretty aggressively. So likely here we're either taking like a Forerunner or the Commanding Presence, and I think I'm okay with actually just speculating on this Presence based on power level. We'll see what comes around. Black doesn't seem to be super open. Nyxborn Marauder is perfectly fine, but nothing terribly exciting, and I'd probably just rather have this Omen of the Sun here move into green-white a little bit. We can always splash this E2 Extinction if we want to. Alright, what do we have? Not a whole lot. Really, the only playable cards that we could consider picking here are Gift of Strength and Hydra's Growth, and I'm actually pretty even on them. I guess we'll take the Growth because it plays better with the Aura sub-theme. It's just narrow. It's really easy for this card to not do what you want it to. And there we go. We got a Lagana Band Storyteller. That's fantastic. We read the signals and are in the right colors, and we get nothing here. Well, take a Soul Reaper for the board. I guess we can actually pull it out of the board because we're not sure of our colors yet. See, this Catoblepus tells a different story here, and I'm going to happily take it. Now it looks like black is wide open, so I guess we're just going to take black cards. Interesting choice here between the three of these. Temple Thief is probably the worst of these three cards, but we now have the most black cards that are good. Really interesting. We've got a Blessing, Typhon. I think I'm going to take the Plummet because... I'll just check it out and be safe. Take the Thief. Sideboard. And that's nothing. Alright, let's see what we got. Temple, no, not in our colors, though I do like the temples in general. Entrancing Leer is just a fantastic card. I'm actually tempted by both the Mogus' Favor and the Typhon, though I think the Leer might be better. It's actually a close one. I really want to take this Typhon, but I think I'm going to take the Leer because I know it makes my deck. And that brings us to what would be a decision point once I saw the Banishing Light and was thinking we're going back into white, but we're going to take this Myers Grasp and be really happy about it. And probably just stick to our guns in green-black if we can get there. There is a chance that we splash for, you know, maybe like the Presence in the Storyteller. If we want to do that, this Omen looks really good. I'm actually a little disappointed because I really like the Sentinel's Eyes and the Sienna here. But I think we are taking Physician, Lampad, or Omen. I think we're going to take the Lampad. Yeah, I think I'm just okay with that. There's just enough... yeah, we're getting really paid off here. Final Death's great. Normally I'd snap this Agonizing Remorse off, but we could use a little bit more removal, and this is great. Also, Return to Nature would be a fantastic pick here. Another Hydra's Growth. Not loving that. It's just... it's a little deep on things. And actually, as I look at it, we're really not even in green that much. We got a Blessing, Growth, and a Typhon versus... so basically, we're talking about Blessing and Typhon versus Presence and Storyteller. If we can pick a black card, I think we want to, though there are a couple really good blue cards here. End of the day, I think I'm okay taking this Omen of the Dead. I think that works for me. Interesting. Probably just picking up a Funeral Rites. It's in black, which is our safer color. It works well with like a Voracious Typhon if we end up going that direction. And there's just really nothing that compelling here. Choice here is between another Omen or a Forerunner. There's also consideration for the Altar. Boy, we should have just stuck green-white. That's what, the third or fourth Sienna going around? I mean, not that we want a ton of Legends in our deck, but the card's really good. I think we're just going to take the Omen here and kind of waffle a bit. By waffle, I mean stick in black, which, again, we're getting some really good late picks here. I'd love to have another Catalepus. And now it's between Temple Thief and Wardens. Wardens are probably better, and I think it's worth speculating here in case we end up green. Then we get an Omen of the Sun. I guess we could take the Gift of Strength. I don't know, we're just so in between. We're probably playing all of our black cards right now, with the exception of this Temple Thief. So we're actually starting to get hard-pressed for playables. Omen's a lot better than Gift of Strength. But I think green's just better than white in general. And I'd kind of rather end up green. Cling to Dust is fine. I guess we are playing where sideboards matter. Grim Physician is nothing to shake a stick at. It's not something I want to put in my main deck, but it's really good against aggressive decks, which I think we're going to be okay against already. Looking at things, potentially, depends on our colors. But I think we'll take the Cling, throw it on the board. And hey, we got the Remorse back. That's fantastic. Sure, we'll throw those in the sideboard. And same with the Underworld Dreams. Maybe we're a mono black deck, who knows? Looks like we'll take this Drag to the Underworld, and that's fantastic. Great pickup here, nothing even close. And looking at either, we got a Rage Guard Berserker before. So it's basically between potentially Aspect, which is a decent card, but I really don't like picking it this early. We could take this Traveler's Amulet, which lets us play a little bit Best of Both Worlds. It looks like we're leaning green, but I'd like to splash a couple white cards, so maybe we'll take this Amulet. That said, Forerunner's good too. I think we'll just take the Berserker, play it super safe. Take another Drag, yeah, happy with that. Typhon here, we're gonna miss that. Another Final Death. We're just gonna play all the removal, it looks like. And we might even be able to get away with almost mono-colored. Field of Ruin doesn't actually do anything. Tower Scout and Erois are really not actually cards. I mean, they're fine. They don't... there's nothing special. Sunbane Pegasus is probably the best card in this pack right now, but we are comparing Omen, Presence, Storyteller with Typhon, Warden, Growth, Blessing, Gift. Yeah, we're probably in green, so we'll just take this Aspect. Elspeth Nightmare is a decent pickup here. So is Mogus's Favor. We're actually not looking to have a ton of escape, And I really do like Mogus's favor. I think ultimately Nightmare is probably a better card though. Interesting. I wish I could just pick up this whole pack. That would basically solidify everything. We'd play almost every card in it. But right now I think it's between Timuret and Blight Breath. And I think Blight Breath probably wins. It's just so good. I don't like how top heavy we are right now, but I think we can get there. Our curve is really not that good. Man. Second Timuret doesn't seem like what I want though. I'm going to take the Blight Breath. And, well, we get really punished here. We're going to play a 4 Blight Breath deck. And I guess at this point, Grim Physicians are looking good. Libation's okay too. Minion's Return is a card I like a lot. But I think we just need to block. So yeah, we're going to take this position and hope we get the other one. Yeah, we'll play both of those. Piper's great. Thank you. We really needed that. Throw a Flicker in the board, as well as this Inspire. And there is a decent chance that we just end up nearly mono-colored. We're going to have 51 cards. What if we just cut all of the non-black cards? Yeah, we're just playing mono-black here. So we're going to play 16 swamps, even though we have a bunch of 6-drops. Color is just not a concern of ours. And let's see. So weak cards here are Grim Physicians, Temple Thief. Aspect is marginal. I actually think we happened upon a really nice deck here. I think what I will do... Omen is good with what we're doing at the end here. I'm going to cut this Temple Thief. Argument for cutting one of the Catoblepas, but we're mono black. I'm curious about our permanents though. Let's see, we've got 12 creatures, which is super low, so we really can't cut any more creatures. Why do we have so many non-creatures? A lot of enchantments that aren't anything, I guess. Aspect is probably next to go. It's a good control card. Catch a couple with our last cards in handout. Yeah, we just got a ton of removal, so we don't really care that much. What's Aspect actually good on? It's good on a Berserker. It's good on a... We just have a lot of creatures, actually. So yeah, Aspect is out. Alright, anything... Consideration for putting this Temple Thief back in. Maybe over, like, Funeral Rites. But I think because of how top-heavy we are, and how much removal we have, I really just want to draw my lands. So I think we're happy with this, and we're just going to dive into some games. Let's see what we can do. What do we have here? High CMC, 2 lands and a Funeral Rites. We're on the draw. I think we'll keep this. We could get run over. That helps a lot. I'm going to fight Arena's organization scheme. And yeah, this is looking fine. We'll just Funeral Rites here. Do we have to discard? Yeah, that was foolish. I guess we'll just discard this Berserker because they have an Omen to get it back. Seems fine. Play a Lampad here. We're having an interesting problem where we're not able to play our spells because our opponent's not casting anything. We'll play an Omen and just get back to this Berserker. Yeah, that's fine. This gives us a Scry later. Great, cool. Play a Berserker. Fantastic. Really curious what our opponent's trying to do here. Maybe they have Shadow the Sky? Can't really tell. Oh, sure. I just don't think that's going to do as much of what you want as you think. Honestly, I'm just going to play another Berserker here and apply some pressure. Yeah, happy to 6 you. And we'll take 4 here pretty happily as well. Or not. Maybe we'll just... Oh, I wish we had a land for that. That's okay. We can... Here, we can drag and clear. Which seems good, actually. Yeah, that's gonna finish it. That makes a lot of sense. I guess they were just flooded, is likely what happened there. We, as a mono black deck, have basically almost no opportunity to sideboard. Though, actually, as we ended up mono black, throwing an Underworld Dreams in seems interesting, as they seem to be a slower 3-color deck, and that can really punish them for that. So, I'm going to look to see what we could take out that, you know, like, honestly, a Grim Physician seems like it could be good. Now, we might end up flipping that back around if they end up being more aggressive than it seems, and they just flooded, but we'll see. Alright, normally this is a hand I wouldn't necessarily love, but the Funeral Rites pushes it a long way, and actually, I'm lying, this is a hand I love. Swamps are the danger here, and I'd rather get mana screwed than mana flooded, typically. As you can tell by me snap going to 16 lands when I built the deck. But I think this is going to work out. Drawing a 5-drop helps, and our deck is just super high-end heavy. Cool. Yeah, we're going to hit everything, including them, and they're likely going to drop something powerful soon. Or not, I guess. Nylea does basically nothing, especially with the removal we have in our deck. This actually seems like a great turn. Lampad, don't really care. Remorse, we get to really screw with what they're trying to do. They're playing some sort of... Oh no. Oh no, that's brutal. Yeah, they're just super flood. So they were Bant last game, and now they're Teamer, so I don't really know what's happening here. But ultimately, it looks like we're going to have a couple of non-games. I mean, they're going to be able to cast literally anything they draw. Yeah, that's fine. Do some draw. Oh, I see. Well, let's. So they're gonna kill with Erois' Blessing our Berserker if we play it. Or we could Leer, tap the hero, attack with both, trade with this. I think I'd rather actually tap the Soldier. Huh. Yeah, we're just gonna do this because I want to Blight Breath the hero. And if they want to trade, we're actually pretty happy with that. There's no way you want to here. Yeah. So my guess is they... Blessing, hero, kill, Lampad, attack us for 4. Nylea just looks so bad in their deck. Doesn't do anything. Sure. Yeah, we're just running away with it again. We've got a fantastic hand, an Entrancing Leer on basically nothing, and they just don't have any cards. They're miles away from Nylea. They need 3 more Green Devotion for it to be anything, and they basically have to get there without a creature because we have drag. Did you get the Brute? Sure. You got a 2-drop? No, good. Wow, double drag. That is brutal. Gain life with the altar. That's cute. Sure. Love to draw another Catoblepas here. But I guess it doesn't matter, because unless they play another blocker, they're dead. Oh, interesting. Never mind. Okay. And they did. Alright, alright. Yeah, I still don't think we want to untap it. Because this turn, we are just going to... I guess we're not going to kill the Rage Hound. Which means we can't attack, which is actually unfortunate. Could just play another Rage-Scar Berserker. Attack for 3 and 3. Let's trade here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, they can trade with whatever they want. I just really don't care that much. Yeah, I mean, they had a good turn back there, but ultimately they just have too many cards in their deck that don't do anything. Playing Thrill of Possibility, Nylea, Altar, like, they're out of their entire hand, they had 4 cards that affected the board. They have a 4/4 blocker, so yeah, they're gonna block. Oh, they kill my Leer. I mean, that's fine, but you're dead. You have 3 lethal creatures, you have 2 blockers. Oh, actually no, because they're gonna gain a life. Interesting. So they're gonna trade here. They're gonna trade here. I'll keep this. Be able to draw a card if I want to. I think that's fine, ultimately. They'll be able to escape their Rage Hound, but we can even just wait it out. That was a really interesting choice. Why would you leave me with 2 creatures? Huh. I guess because their plan is to trade and trade. Okay. They might have a shot here. They pulled out a couple of actually really good turns. I also respect that they're just playing it out. There are a couple spots in this game where you could have seen someone concede really easily, and not seeing that, which I definitely respect. That helps. That helps. So let's see. Nightmare kills Utopia. We don't attack. Wait to block here. And then we have a Soul Reaper left. That seems good. We have a goat to sack for a card as well. They do get to keep activating Nylea, which means they could draw stuff. The problem is Nylea doesn't even look great in their deck. They're just playing so many non-creature spells. Now they can't even escape it. Cool, perfect. Took long enough, but we were able to close it out. Not quite, actually, because they get to gain a life. And we played the land just in case we need to sack the Catoblepas for whatever reason. So we're going to play a Rage Hound. They go to 2 off altar. They can activate Nylea and still play a 4-drop. Or activate twice and play a 1-drop. I guess they would activate twice and play a 2-drop. Yeah, just want to do it. There's too many cards that don't affect the board. Anyways, not to try to rub it in, I know I was a little bit arrogant in that game, but this really goes back to just basic Magic theory, especially in Limited. You really just need to play enough creatures in your deck that you can attack and block effectively. I mean, we got ahead basically just because we played creatures. We did get a fair number of 2-for-1s off Catoblepas and things like that, but they just never played enough. I mean, they played 4 different creatures that whole game. The Rage Hound they played a handful of times, so that helps, but I mean, yeah, it's just when you're drafting, you really have to be mindful of the creatures that you're drafting, and especially their curve as well. If you can't survive or you don't have creatures to put your powerful auras on, it really doesn't matter. You know, we saw 2 Iroas's Blessing, I guess. It's Iroas's something. Favor. The one that shoots for 4. Staggering Insight. You know, ultimately it's just a greedy 4-color deck. But sometimes that's how your draft goes. I don't love this, but we have the lands to support it, so we'll keep it, and hopefully we draw some cheap spells. Basically, with this draw, the only bad draws are more expensive cards, but even those aren't that bad. Lands are good. Low drops are good. That's exactly where we want to be. It's the majority of our deck. I guess actually not. There's still a lot of 5 and 6 drops. Speak of the devil. That said, this hand just has a lot of power to take over the late game. Especially since we're not getting run over right away. Another 3-color deck. 3-color plus, maybe. I'll take another hit from this just to see if we can find a better target. Ultimately, we can take 2 for a handful of turns. And by a handful of turns, I mean 1 more turn, because we're about to play a 5-4. So, it's worth losing the 2 life to see what comes out. And actually, at this point, I think we probably do just save the 2 life, because these are about equal. I mean, ultimately, Soul Reaper's better, but not if they don't have other creatures. So we'll just eat this. Show me a land. Yeah, throw that in the yard. Well, we are just all high drops here. I think that's okay. Yeah, Catoblepas kills this. Second one kills that. And actually, question here is, do we even get cute? We might just Final Death this just to be safe. I like applying pressure, honestly. Worst case scenario, they get a Pegasus or 2, which is good against the Catoblepa by themselves for blocking purposes, but really just doesn't do that much. If you're considering this much, you should probably just block. Close. Almost got there. Yeah, and the upside here is we can likely kill this Archon with another Catoblepas. And, yeah, we still can. So they get 2 Pegasi, they gain some life. Probably Final Deathing would have been the right play, but I do like being able to... This is interesting, actually. Maybe instead we Final Death the Archon, in case they have any Recursion and Agonizing Remorse as well. I like that play as well. The cool thing is the Remorse can hit the Sentinel's eyes if we need it to. And this is interesting. Let's look at their yard. They can get back the Soul Reaper with the Storyteller. Heliod's Pilgrim can get them anything. I still think we hit the Storyteller. And we're just going to swing in here. I'm happy to trade. Yeah, we can just full board wipe here if that's what we want to do. Expecting something very similar to this. They're going to play a Pilgrim and whatever it finds. Aspect. Oh, that was actually good. That was actually really good. Yeah, I think we really messed up when we didn't just snap exile the Pegasus, the Archon. That was pretty greedy on my part. Because now we're in big trouble. I mean, okay. Less big trouble now. That was a great draw. But we're in a top deck war and we're well behind. They have a Lear as well. Gotta believe this would be a good draw. Sure. Yes. Obviously, they draw a card off it regardless. It is nice. Swamp is not a good draw. Drag I like. We're gonna wait, see if they want to put anything on it. It'd be great to nab another something. Probably should have just taken the 2. No, maybe not. They're not going to follow with anything. Alright, that's enough. We got 6 more lands in these 20 cards. What's that? Almost 3/4 are non-lands. Let's start drawing some of those non-lands. Tap it. That's fine. Looks like a pretty big flood on both sides. Berserker's great. Happy about that. Sure. We can obviously untap the Leer and tap my Berserker, but it's not a big deal. So they have 3 power with the Sentinel's Eyes. Still not enough for the Berserker, enough to take out the Soul Reaper though. Sentinel's Eyes is much better than it looks. And actually, they're the beatdown here, kind of, so we're probably not attacking anyways. That aspect of Lamprey was a fantastic find with the Pilgrim, and it's a card I didn't think about when I was agonizing remorsing them. There we go. It's great. Just paying extra here in case they have a, I don't know, Karametra's Blessing or something. Not that they would use it here, but I'd love to attack, but 1 for 2 actually isn't even good for us. So, Omen of the Dead would be a fantastic draw here. That'd be great with 2 of those. That's probably the #1 card I want to see. That's not great. And it's only 3. I've actually been really unimpressed with this card overall. I mean, it played okay here. No, but still their best card, and that's still terrible. Well, shit. 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures, so we're dead. Yeah. Super, super dead. Well, mistakes were made, and we got punished. That's what greed will do to you. So if we look back at that game, how differently it would have played if we would have killed that Archon immediately with the final death. Ultimately, they wouldn't have been able to trade with our Rage Guard Berserker with their 2 Pegasus. And we would have had another final death to follow up whatever else they put their auras on. But let's just be mindful of that for the future. Question here is, do we want any of our 4 sideboard cards? I guess it's probably no. They have a significant amount of life gain in Omen and the Pegasus, and it looks like they're honestly fairly aggressive. So Underworld Dreams doesn't look great. Temple Thief didn't have a lot of impact. Didn't see any recursion to speak of. Aspect is interesting, but I think ultimately not better than anything on our deck. So we're just going to dive right in. I guess Grim Physician is a consideration for a card that we could have swapped out for like Aspect. But again, it's not in our deck because I think we only have 12 creatures right now, so it's pretty rough to find anything to put that on. That last game was really frustrating because we really just had one of the best draws we'll see with this deck. And I got greedy. That's exactly what happened. I got greedy and then I swung in when I shouldn't have. I even could have used one of those final deaths to get a 2-for-1 on that block if I'd have been patient. This thing looks great. We got the Timorite to buy time, Remorse to pick something brutal out of their hand, follow up with some high drops if we draw lands, and if we don't, hopefully we can get to this Funeral Rites. This is a hand that has the potential to go south, but I don't anticipate it will, though we are on the draw. I don't love that we're auto-passing. That was a weird way to start the game. Perfect. Question here. Not a question. Certainly Timorite. Really the question comes next turn. And honestly, from what we've seen, we want to hit their 4 slot. That's Aspect and it's the Archon. And those are the 2 cards that are probably the most dangerous to our deck. So we are likely safe to just run out this Funeral Rites. Sure. So they've got the Eidolon Favor combo. Favor doesn't do anything as it stands, except it draws cards off their own tokens. Pilgrim, we know, can get that one card. Aspect, though it's not that brutal right now. They're actually pretty far from any of this really mattering because they don't even have a swamp. I could be a real guy and take this Traveler's Amulet, but I think that's too cute. Ultimately, it's between the Favor and the Leer, I think. And I think we just take the Leer. I just don't think that Favor is going to have much of an impact on the game. And we'll just pass. We get to start playing things that outclass what their hand holds pretty quickly. Especially if they have to work for their swamp. Like, they're 2 turns away from aspecting us, which means we at least get to play Berserker, likely a Catoblepus as well, or potentially a Leer. Either one we're happy with. We're going to Mogus's Favor after. Yeah, no, we're good. Deal your 2. Yep, sure. So, like we said, their likely line is Pilgrim into Aspect again. By the time they do that, we'll have played one of these cards and drawn another. Oh, or they can just rip the Aspect. Interesting. I think we actually just lose the Leer, but that might be too much. We keep Final Death, and it's between Leer and... So we're losing Catoblepus. We're probably losing a Leer, because we're the beatdown here. We just have better cards. There's not a lot they can do. We might just Final Death here. I think we're going to just Final Death this and attack with both. we're sitting on some cards that don't matter that much. They kind of have to play Sentinel's Eyes this turn, but they can't. Sure. Don't care about that at all. So, interesting thing here. Probably not, actually. I think we just Catablepus, kill this, attack with both. Then next turn we can drag whatever they put the Hydra's thing on and exile the 2 escape cards. I don't even know if we need to exile the escape cards. Sure. Great. So they can favor or eyes here. Totally fine. Wow, that's brutal. Okay, that one went much, much better. I think we played it right as well. Still no changes. Just lock it in. Cling to Dust is interesting, just to tag their Mogus's Favor and Sentinel's Eyes, because those are particularly actually good cards, especially with their Hateful Eidolon. But I just don't think we need it. I think once again they have too many cards that don't impact the board in a meaningful way. So if we can draw a hand that just has a couple of beaters, this is why that the Minotaur, whatever it is, the 5/4 that gives indestructible. So why it's a great card, and well, I'll happily play a handful of them. Is a 5/4 just outclasses so much, especially if you can back it up with any sort of removal. Which again, that's why black is so good. If you notice, we're not even playing any rares. We don't have a single rare in our deck, right? Yeah, not one to speak of. I mean, we have a lot of great uncommons. We got 2 drags, we've got the Agonizing Remorse. But the strong part of our deck is all commons. That's why black's so powerful. I'd love to see another 4 land and 3 4 to 6 drop hand. Those are the kind of hands that I think do really well against this opponent. Although I like that we were applying pressure that last game. Interesting to see them thinking about it, but ultimately our deck's happy to be on the draw. We just have a lot of removal, so I don't see how it works out for them to be on the draw. This is not a good hand. These omens don't do anything. Remorse helps. Funeral Rites helps us get there. I guess the omens and the funeral rites mean something, maybe. We're on the draw. I think we'll keep, but I'm not in love with this by any means. The remorse is really the only card making me keep this, and it's speculative at best. Hey, there you go. That's great. That's actually exactly what I was looking to draw. That's fantastic. Well, what are you going to do? I think we're okay with that ultimately. Banishing Light almost certainly. Almost certainly maybe. It's really interesting. The Hoplite is problematic after the Courser. They only have one more land. I think a Banishing Light, because it deals with too many... Like, the way we come back is we draw a 5-4, right? They play some stuff, some little guys, we draw some cards, lose some life, are at a bit of a deficit, then we play a 5-4 and stabilize. So we can't really have them having a perfect removal spell. Perfect. Just like, oh wait, we have one in hand. Oh wait, no, that was a Cataclysm. Yeah. Even still, now we've got the time as long as we don't get stuck on mana. And that certainly helps. And we actually can... Interesting. We can play Omens to help us block. At least one is good because it gets us a Cataclysm. The other one gets us a Grim Physician, which is pretty nothing, but... They do have Favor, but they have nothing in the yard. Okay, all we want is lands. There we go. I think we don't even attack. Sure, player Omen. We definitely don't attack. Yeah. Once again, they're kind of in trouble. I don't think they have any attacks here. Play the Hoplite next turn and get some tokens, but kind of who cares? Play a land pad here, hold up the Scry to find us our next land to start just Cataclysming every turn. Definitely not attacking. We're still waiting to just clear the way with our Cataclysm. Great. Poisons. We likely kill the Soul Reaper first so they can't draw as many cards. And at this point, we can attack. Honestly, we could attack with both if we wanted, but this doesn't accomplish anything. So we'll just attack for 5. Pretty happily. Yeah, this game's pretty much in the bag unless they can rip something kind of amazing. The Hoplite's just not going to do it here. Archon, very good. Hey, Politoline, you get a token, okay. I'm going to Cataclysm this and kind of just keep on trucking. Now the question here is if we swing in. If we attack with a 5-4, it trades for a 2-4 because they block here, and then they can also trade 2 for a 3/2. I honestly don't love that just because of what we have in hand, although the Omen helps. Maybe we just apply pressure here while we can, right? Attack with this, they just actually just straight block, and they go... We're gonna have to get rid of this 2/4 eventually. It's either Catoblepas or maybe we just attack with a 5/4. I think that's the way, because we don't just want to throw this away to the Courser. But we'll trade here. Yep. And this is where a card like the Hoplite starts looking really bad, right? Like you're paying 5 for 2 power, 3 toughness. I guess you get an extra token off the Omen, but it's just, you're not doing anything. It looks like a really powerful card. What are you getting? Getting a Soul Reaper, I guess? Courser. Yeah, so I think we'll just Catoblepas, kill your 3/4, swing in. Yeah. Still got the Nightmare if we need it. So I guess they could block there. Yeah, if they block those 2 on that, then we're not thrilled. Yeah, we're reasonably happy with that because we're just going to get it back with this Omen and do it again. I think here it's a toss-up between a Catoblepas and the Berserker. I think we might just get a Catoblepas again. No, Berserker is just so good against their millions of tiny guys. I wish we could play them both here. That'd be great. But it's not the case. Berserker lets us attack with a Catoblepas, which is fine. Or we could Nightmare and Scry, and I think that's actually good. So we're actually going to Nightmare and kill their Eidolon so that they don't have that, so they can't keep drawing. And here we'll honestly start trading pretty happily. So that, 2, still attack with that. No blocks has me worried, so I'm actually just going to play this Berserker. Which likely was the better play anyways. I don't know why I didn't see that I could do it all. Okay. And we got there. Those were a couple of better games, a lot more interaction there. I'm actually going to take a quick break, but ultimately that's not going to impact you because of the power of editing. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next rounds. All right, we're 2 wins, no losses. Let's see if we can rack up 3 more. This is a deck where a 2-land opening hand would normally worry me, but Mire's Grasp helps a lot, and Elspeth Nightmare, if we can handle it, if we can get to it, really helps stabilize the board, so I think it's worth keeping. Again, our big concern is getting run over. I'm fairly confident we can win the late game. The question is just, can we get there? And I think this hand gets us there. Love being able to take that out so efficiently. Nessian Wanderer is a card that can not run away with the game, but it can cause some significant problems. And again, we're playing against a 3-color deck. Don't know why so many people are drawn to doing this, but so it is. This is interesting, actually. I think we probably take the Omen, because it can kill our 2 Catoblepas, and there's a chance we just run them out this game without seeing anything else, so we'll take that. These are just so not a problem. We're sitting on 5 removal spells. Really, any creature is exactly what we want to see. There we go. Perfect timing. Let's draw a land here. Perfect. This is beautiful. Kind of just like we wrote it up. There's a chance this doesn't do the job because they represented a trick last turn, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. And this is the weird thing about this format is we're probably just going to ride these 3. Yep, we were perfectly set up to ride these 2 3/2s to victory, but our opponent saw that and conceded pretty early. Again, not a lot of options here. It looks like they're potentially aggressive, but they're 3 colors. We're just not worried about that. This really shows you the power of being able to stay in one color, specifically when you know the power of the commons in that color. We never have mana problems. Sometimes we don't hit 6, which is, our deck is very high-end focused, which does matter, but just avoiding the color screw problems is such a big game. Funeral Rites is a great draw there. It gives us something proactive to do, because none of our cards we currently want to use against what they're doing. Unfortunately, we're going to have to discard, but I think I'm okay with that because we have the Omen. So, draw a couple, discard likely this Catoblepas, and we'll just get that back later. It's unfortunate to see them just getting completely mana screwed, but we've kind of already noted that they're being greedy with their mana. We'll just get that Catoblepas back now. And might as well use it. Interesting. So we want 1. We're sitting on 4 lands, so we'll put 1 on the bottom. And again, from here, we just get to Cataclysm all of the things they use to catch up. Well, you know, sometimes you win based on mana. I will say that first game, it was largely due to them being greedy and getting flooded. Honestly, the second one, they just never hit 3, which is pretty brutal. I understand the concession there. Let's see if we can just play against a solid 2-color deck that's not being greedy for kind of nonsensical cards. It's really interesting. The first game we saw them play 3 forests and then some aggressively focused white and red cards. I should clarify that I'm typically a Magic Online player, so Moto, and the kind of the level of competition is actually typically quite high on Moto, so this might just be me customizing myself to Magic Arena, but I've been surprised in this draft so far how frequently people are just playing non-playable decks. I don't quite understand it. But also sometimes drafts go awry, so there's that as well. It's nice that we hit the Grim Physician so we don't have to discard off the Funeral Rites like we have been. And basically, everything's solved for us for the rest of this game. We have removal, removal, removal. We have ways to get back our creatures that are dealt with, as long as they're being killed or countered. I really am just quite happy with our position. We have all the lands we need to get there, for the most part. Question here is, do we drag the Pegasus? And it's interesting. We could be several turns away from this Cataclysm mattering. I think what we do is we just pass. Oh no, we should drag it now because of the Alseid. I don't want to waste this kill spell to kill the Alseid, basically. So we'll do that. There's likely going to be better targets later for that kill spell, but I want to be mindful of mana efficiency because we're also likely not going to make a play next turn. So yeah. By likely not going to make a play, I meant the turn after. Actually, sure. Yeah, we'll attack with this. Blocks are great here. Happy with that. Interesting choice. Either way, trade for your Alseid. Oh, right, it's indestructible. Duh. And did they gain life off of that? Maybe. No, there's no way they did. So right here it feels like they're trying to bait me and they have a Deny the Divine. But maybe they're just making sure they can use their Sunmane Pegasus. I don't know why you would have full control there to tap out. I mean, not to tap out, but to tap for a familiar. Obviously, the first Cataclysm is going to go to the Alseid because they're going to give protection, but we're going to make them pay for it anyways. And either way, we're happy to attack here because they can't. Oh, great. That's fantastic. Yeah, swing in. That really limits the amount of tricks they can have. So basically, we're going to target the Pegasus, they're going to sack the Alseid, and we don't get to attack this turn. But that's still okay. They're sitting on 3 cards in hand, and we're holding at least 1 2-for-1. Omen of the Dead is like a 3-for-1 because we're going to get back a Catoblepas, kill a thing. Yeah, we're just in a really good position here. Also, the flexibility of our mana costs really helps. If we want to, we can Catoblepas next turn, or we can Berserker plus Omen or Physician if we want to. This is interesting. I think we likely actually just go for Catoblepas on the hero, because it can just cleanly block our Catoblepas. And we'll let them keep the Pegasus to block with, if they want to. My guess is they won't. And now, barring a Wrath, we're just really far ahead. Granted, they're gaining life every turn, but I just think it's kind of a non-issue. So normally I would just swing with everything, but because they have the mana up, if we swing with Catoblepas plus these 2 Physicians, they go even on life and eat our Catoblepas. Even though we have the Omen, it's not worth it. So we just swing with these 2 that are an even trade with the Pegasus. And the great thing is, after this, we get to play the Soul Reaper, which allows us to mess with combat even more. In fact, next turn we can Soul Reaper plus activate, so we get to attack with both Catoblepas, both Berserkers, threaten, sacrifice Physician to give -1/-1, and trade for Catoblepases. So, really happy with our spot here. Again, they're holding 3 cards and they haven't really played a spell in a little while, so that's concerning. And they also, I believe, missed a land drop last turn, so who knows what to expect. It could be a counterspell, although I kind of doubt it based on our recent plays. Continuing to attack the familiar is interesting. I feel like it'd just be better to leave it back to block. I can't really imagine. I guess you don't want to block a 3/2 with it, but I don't know. Banishing Light on a Berserker. Okay. It's decent. We are at 5. We're not dead next turn, but we're close. Anything in here that matters? No. Another Omen. That's fine. Play the Soul Reaper up front so that we can just swing. Can't swing with a Physician, can we? Because we swing, hit, -1, that's 2, they're left with 1. So those don't actually do anything. I guess if they block, they take 5, take 11, 12, which is interesting. It's probably worth it just for that, honestly. It's just free damage. There's really no way that they're going to block these Physicians. And post-combat, we sacrifice one of these. Kill your Pegasus. Sure, that keeps us alive. Unless you have another one, we're probably okay. And if they have another one, they got us. Okay, an enchantment here does it too. Well, I guess they would have gotten it either way. Okay. Well, that was a good game. Really was a close one. Karametra's Blessing was a big game. Again, not much we can do here. Sentinel's Eyes is a consideration for Cling to Dust. Underworld Dreams is pretty bad when you consider they're trying to hit us with 2-power lifelinkers. So, yeah, I think we're just going to run it back. The Omen of the Dead seemed pretty bad there. But it was just the nature of how they were dealing with combat. They just weren't really interested in blocking. So otherwise, they would have looked pretty good. If we could have traded something off earlier and replayed a Catoblepus, for example, it would have been really nice, but just not how things worked out. It's a hell of a screen name. Must really like Innistrad. Like, really like it. Yeah, I mean... Pardon me while I just reorganize things. Cool, we got a curve. It's nice. Maybe we are the beatdown in this game. Who knows? I think it's largely dependent on, yeah, that exactly. If we draw a land, happy to play this. If we didn't draw a land, I'd have been more convinced to play the Funeral Rites, just to make sure we hit the land drops, because what we're trying to do is drop these 6 drops, obviously. I don't think we care enough about this 2-3 to kill it, so we're just going to attack with both. They'll block the 2-3, we'll get in for 1, no we'll Funeral Rites. Interesting. Oh, they're scared of Mogus's favor. Cool, that's great. We don't even have that in our deck. Wish we did, but we don't. Another land is great. Low drop is good too. If we need to, we can Dragon Piper. And we're 1 off of the Blight Breaths. Don't love that. They're going to get their card back, but we'll kill it with the drag. Oh, very cute. That would be pretty unbeatable if we weren't about to kill it. Hexproof Indestructible. Very cute. That's problematic, honestly. We're going to kill it with a Catoblepus next turn, but it's still not ideal. Because they're going to draw another card, maybe draw a counterspell if they're control deck. I haven't seen any counterspells, but I'm somewhat fearful of them. And ultimately now they're basically even to the point where us killing it with a Catoblepus doesn't even get us that far ahead, right? Sure, player Pegasus. Jesus. Well, it looks like we're going to go down in this round. The Leer helps a lot, actually. Perfect. Cool. Pegasus can hit the Shadow Spear. That's fine. Next turn we're going to Leer and tap it. So, I think we're okay there. Unless we get Shadow Spear and, then we have to draw a land to Leer it. But we might just be able to Catoblepus it too. Should be great. Then we can just continue to leer whatever the Shadow Spear is on. Sure. Equip. And attack. I can attack for 4. Lifelink. And it's still not going to matter because we're just going to kill it with the Cataplepus. They won't get anything back, which is great too. Wondering what they're considering here. Sure. Just a non-factor. So another Cataplepus kills your Pegasus. Interesting. Honestly, I think we're happy to just attack in here. Just this and this. If they want to, we can trade here, or they can trade for either here. We don't want to give them the option to eat. I guess we can attack here. Sure. So they could Sentinel's Eye, they could double Sentinel's Eyes and Shadow Spear if they want to this turn, which is pretty rough, but long term we have the Leer to help with that, and the Nightmare probably isn't doing anything here, but we want to set it up so we get these Sentinel's Eyes in the yard when it triggers its third Saga counter, lore counter, basically the third stage. We can exile 1 or 2 of them with the Nightmare. That's really what we're after. The other key is we don't want to kill the Evangel while they have the... Oh, that's foolish. Cute thing with the Evangel is if you have the Lionfish equipped and it dies, I mean enchanted and it dies, it comes right back. Which is great. Let's do a 5/6. You get to attack with it, which is really good. And ultimately, we can't attack you next turn. But what we can do is play a Leer. And probably the Nightmare as well. Yeah, because at that point we'll just trade our... probably both our Cataplepus for the Evangel. So then we just Nightmare here, kill the Lionfish. And pass. Obviously we're not attacking. And it's going to be really tough for them to kill us unless they have the Alcyon. If they do, we just lose. Which is the way it is. If they don't, we get to tap down the Evangel and start beating down. And their life gets pretty hard from there. Obviously, we'll offer up a trade first. I'm trying to think of a better way to do it. I'd love to keep a 3-2 around. 3, 4, 5, 6, but that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is actually great. So this. Oh, and they're not even attacking. It's fantastic. The land in hand, cool. Well, this is just exactly what we were hoping to do. It's unlikely we're going to get the Sentinel's Eyes off of this, but I think that's ultimately okay. this hero doesn't even have any good blocks on anything really. I guess it's a lot better now. I just don't think we can untap it. Problem here is, what are we even attacking with? So let's think about this. If we untap, they get to untap this Dawn Evangel. They get to attack next turn for 5 trample. So we'll need to make sure we leave up things to trade. If we untap and tap this, we get to attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, while keeping some number. I think we actually do it. So we're going to have a 5-6 next turn. I think the blocks were this, 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 or something. So we're going to move to combat. We go attack with this, attack with this, and we have, honestly, I think we also attack with this. 3, 4, 5, 6, but we don't even need the 6. So I think we attack with this too. They're pretty much priced into moving this over. We block, they attack for 5, we block 2, 3 of it, go to 1, except we sack the physician, make it less. It's really interesting. They want to put the Sentinel's Eyes on their hero. We're not going to let that happen. So that's really what they're after here. Although I guess with a tap down, it just doesn't matter. But it also doesn't matter because we have the Leer and we can just tap things down. Well, that's a really cute draw considering our mana. Because if they have a trick for it, no, they don't. And we can just attack with everything. Okay, that was hard fought. Shadow Spear is an incredibly difficult card to beat. And actually, if you look back to the draft, when we took Entrancing Leer over whatever it was, we took it pretty highly. That's why. It is one of the few cards that can beat that card. And I'm not going to say it can beat it outright there. We happen to have a mana advantage, get a lot of 2-for-1s, left them with not a lot to do. But having Entrancing Leer gives you a lot of, in that situation, we weren't doing the thing where we tap whatever they equip it to. But that's an option you have with Entrancing Leer over and over. To the equivalent of Shadow Spear. Obviously, Shadow Spear is more effective, more efficient. This hand is terrible. Let's see. This hand could get run over, but what we've seen is they like to play a bunch of 4-drops and maybe some 3-drops and put equipment on them. So I think we're going to keep. We're on the draw. We have the opportunity to draw low drops. That's not what we want to see at all. But then we drew what we wanted to draw, so I think we're going to be okay. The question here is if they attack with the Waif, if they attack with either, do we block? And I haven't seen a lot of flash enchantments from them. They're representing Omen, but they don't. Yeah. We're still way behind here. We haven't seen a hand where they just curve out like this yet. But again, if we can get to our high-end cards and stop drawing lands, we're way ahead. Our deck's just more powerful overall. And especially if they're just going to attack us for 1 a turn, we're pretty happy. I'm curious. I think I'm okay with trading with the Eidolon. It leaves the Wayfarer, but I think I'm okay with that. We just need to not take damage, and late game, this card's actually really dangerous to us. We're trying to play a card advantage game. For sure. Cool. It's actually a great draw because it just gives us full access to killing whatever we want. And I think we just kill the Pegasus now. I'm not trying to mess around with any counter spells or whatever. Beautiful. Exactly what we want to draw. Okay, I think we're going to be okay. So I'm doing it now in case they have Karametra's Blessing, or a Flash Enchantment, or I guess it would be 2. But if they had like a Staggering Insight or something, we would still get to interact with it, honestly. So it's really just Karametra's Blessing that I'm watching out for. I'm sure. So because of the limited cards in the yard, I'd like to keep this goat around to block later, because I just don't think it's going to do that much. I think we're not going to untap the Leer. I think we're going to play Cataplepas, kill the Lionfish, and then we'll Final Death the Familiar later. I feel like we've stabilized, especially this Final Death helps a lot. I'd really like to not draw any more lands. I think we're good on those. So they can replay the Sentinel's Eyes once we kill the Familiar. But I think ultimately we just have a lot of time here. That doesn't help. Well, we're definitely going to kill that with Final Death next turn. If they give the Wayfarer the plus, we'll definitely block with the Cataplepas and be happy to do so. Yeah, that's great. They make a 1/1, we don't love, but it is what it is. We're still not going to untap. Because our plan, oh, that's beautiful. So we just Final Death here. There's just no way around that. And we can wait till their turn to Omen of the Dead. Let them play something. We'll take the 1, get a Cataplepas back, kill whatever they play or whatever they put some enchantments on once they exile a bunch of cards. We're actually pretty likely to block right now. Maybe not. It's just 2. great. 2 spells here really matters. And this is also why we didn't sack the goat earlier. We get value off of it if we wait. Ultimately now we can save more damage by blocking something bigger and then draining with it. And this Leer has just done so much work for us. Our opponent's flooding out helps a lot too. I'm not going to diminish that. Let's put the Physician on the bottom. Doesn't really do as much as we'd like. We just want impactful cards here. We're just going to run it out. If they counter it, and that's okay. Let's get in with that goat. Goat beats. The other thing too is our opponent's basically at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're at 5 right now, so yeah, that was the plus of them having a really aggressive hand, is that all it took was us basically turning the corner to seal the deal.
Tell me your story.
Sure. All right. Well, let's see if we can just straight scoop this draft. I feel like it's possible. And by scoop, I mean not scoop. Make everyone else scoop. I don't have access to the word that I'm trying to use right here, but sweep. Let's see if we can just sweep this draft. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to scoop it, we're trying to sweep it. So this is another questionable hand. The Grim Physician buys us time. Drag helps 2. If we can get to 3, we can cast it, and from there we've blocked and maybe killed another, and then we're off to the races. And I'm going to be greedy and keep. I think that's really a questionable hand, especially with the current mulligan rules. The Grim Physician is what lets us keep this hand, really. And I don't want to put too much stock in it, but it's what lets us deal with something like this early on, right? Especially if we're just going to draw a bunch of 5 drops. No, we don't want to attack. Sure. All of our spells are interchangeable. It's 3 kill spells, 4 kill spells, and a beater. Probably the Berserker is the one that we don't want them to take here. But I don't know their hand. Probably Drag is the best choice, just based on the fact we don't have any lands. We're sitting on 5s and 6s. Yeah, that was probably the right choice. I will block here. Cool, another 5. Like I said, this hand was greedy. We were really relying on the Physician plus that Drag and the presumption of a land drop. If we can turn the corner, our power level is incredible, but it basically requires us to just rip straight lands from here. It's a good start. Yeah, we know. Sentinel's Eyes would be good here. And as I play this set more and more, I realize that in many places, there's so many spots where Sentinel's Eyes just looks good, and it's because the power and toughness of the creatures is really scaled down. There's just not a bunch of huge beaters. Yeah, that's problematic. You can't deal with that. Which is funny, because this card's terrible. Why would you not attack the Wayfarer, too? I don't think they know what their card does. Glory Bearers allows them to attack both here. This is great. That's what we need. Cool. One more. One more and we're there. One more and we did it. So we got 4 good plays in a row. Sure. overall, for starting this game off so behind, the life deficit here is not bad. We do have to basically take all of this unless we want to chump, and I think we actually might. Let's see, it's 5-6, this is 12. If we don't rip a land, we're in big trouble, and I think we're going to just chump here. I typically don't like that because you can get value off grim positions, but sure, whatever. But ultimately, this is us hedging for this, exactly. We just can't really afford to not have blocked there and have them have something to deal with it. No, I didn't know we were going to draw Agonizing Remorse. Wow. Wow, that is a hand. It probably doesn't matter. I'm actually leaning towards one of the apathies just because of enchantment recursion in black and white. Once they exile, etc., etc. Erebos' Intervention kills anything just like these do, so I think I'm going to kill the apathy because we actually don't care about their life total, so the life gain on intervention just doesn't matter. The power of Agonizing Remorse is that also informs our choices. If we hadn't had that there and had a 2-drop or whatever, and then drew a land, we would have just run out our creatures and just had them killed and killed and killed while they did this. Now, that still might happen because we don't hit our 5th land, and ultimately as I look at it, it might not matter, but I think the choice we make is instead we just go Final Death right here. Kill your Glory Berries. Now we're taking 3 a turn. That's a lot more doable. Now we can take a couple turns of them doing what, killing our creatures as they attack for very little, or we can Cataclysm this. Great, this is what we needed. Let's see if we can get this Wayfarer. They might just Erebos' Intervention. Sure, sack it. That's great too. Okay, I think we're going to be okay because we can go back-to-back Cataclysm, and they have to kill it to get in for 2. Puts us to 2. We kill another. That's not good. That pretty much seals the deal, actually. So Cataclysm makes us... Oh yeah, they just have the... They literally have the win on board. Well, we'll go for it. Maybe they won't do it. That was great. That worked out really well in their favor. Yeah, respect for the deck. That was really tightly played. So now we've come across the first situation where Temple Thief seems like a good add to our deck, and likely Omen of the Dead is the one I'd like to cut. It's a low drop here, but it's only a low drop that really is interesting with our high drop creatures dying. Beyond that, we could play Aspect to nuke a couple cards from their hand, which is helpful. That would have changed the course of the game. Also, having lifelink matters. Again, I think we're only at, like, what, 13? Why can I not see more details? Please? Oh, interesting. I guess I just can't. I think we're at, like, 13 creatures, which makes the Aspect less good. Cling to Dust is interesting in so far as it can gain us some life or draw us a card. I really think you want to be exiling things that matter with this, so probably we're fine here. And I know some of you, if you've made it this far, are thinking that 16 lands is probably really greedy. I don't think it's really greedy. I think it's a little bit greedy, and I think it's worth it. Ultimately, I don't think we have any cards that are bad here. This actually seems like a pretty good matchup for us if we can aggressively mulligan into a hand that does what we need it to do. So let's see what we can get to. Still really shooting for the full sweep. This looks great. This looks like exactly what we want. We are absolutely the control here. So having a removal spell, a draw spell, and some late game cards to play is Perfect. I will say, it's really funny. I have a propensity for black on Arena because I really like the cricket chirping sound that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I play this, go to 5, 6, 7. I think I'd rather play the Funeral Rites here because I really like the cricket sound it makes when you play a swamp. And I know that's silly, but like let's just win, I guess. Who cares? Play a Nightmare here, kill their Courser. It's great. 3 drops about as good as you can get. Looks like they mulliganed, maybe? Almost certainly, actually. Unfortunate for them. Oh, that's really unfortunate for them. Especially because this Nightmare doesn't actually do anything. So we're going to take the Apathy and be mindful of their hand. Let's just play a 5-4. If they're lucky. Not if they're lucky. They have basically no plays here. Sure. They're going to eat a Cataplepus probably, or the Leer. If they eat the Leer, I'm happy. Yeah, that's great. We're gonna get that with the Nightmare anyways. There we go. Exile that. Archon's not good anymore. Fantastic. And actually, this is interesting. Because of our hand, I think we're just going to run out the Cataplepus in 3-2. They still need 2 lands to actually do anything with their creatures. And we can just kill them once they do. So I think we're just going to beat them down. That's the plan, at least. Sentinel's Eyes. Do we care? I don't think we do. And what card matters the most here? Elsewith's Nightmare doesn't do really anything. So I think we'll just take the Archon. Because it can't get anything back. It's really interesting. Maybe we just take... This is actually a close one. So, reasons for not taking Archon or Cataplepus is we can kill them both, and they still have to draw 2 lands to play them. Nightmare, if they just decide to play it, they can just take one of these before we do anything, and Sentinel's Eyes only matters if they play a creature, which will kill. So I think we're going to take Nightmare. It's really, really speculative here, but I also think it just doesn't matter that much, because if they don't... They basically need to deal with both of our creatures next turn or die. Yeah, and they didn't. Like, land doesn't get them there. So, they seem to not be as aggressive as we originally had thought, but I still think our sideboard choice here is right, just because that's how we lose, is we get run over. But yeah, them getting stuck with 2 6-drops in hand that game, where the first game they beat us with basically 1s and 2s only, changes the perspective of what hands are keepable and not. Basically, I kept that last hand because it had early defense, and we never even played that Myers Grasp. Yeah, this one looks great. This is a fantastic hand. Worst case scenario, we plays for the first 3 turns of the game, and actually 4, because this is a 2-drop once we have other cards out. So yeah, really happy here. It's not a great aggressive hand, but I don't know how much that matters. So I'm going to take the drag here. I mean, maybe Timoret, but likely the drag. I just can't imagine they would pick a different card. Yeah. which is fine. We're just going to Timber it. And we know their deck has a lot of removal, so they're likely to Elspeths or Dread Apathy or Pilgrim for an Apathy. All this is fine. We're going to play a Soul Reaper into the ability to sacrifice whatever they Apathy, so we'll get it back, which is good. And by whatever they Apathy, I mean Timeret. Cool. Into that. That's not what we were hoping to see. That is, though. So we have no attacks, but we can play 2/2 drops. And this is where siding in something like Temple Thief gets risky, because they played a 3/4 and we're just brick-walled here. And we have good blocks, which is great. They're gonna Apathy it. So from here, we're probably going to start aggressively sacrificing our creatures as needed. My hope is they Apathy something to give us an excuse to, and really we're just looking for lands to kill these Glory Bearers. Motherfucker. I'm going to activate this. Sacrifice Physician. Draw a card, because we just have a deficit of cards right now. So if they had a 2/3 right now, what does that do? Lets us attack with basically nothing, or a 0/1 is the same, so it really doesn't matter. Cool. Omen's a fine draw. Or Resolve, sacrifice the Soul Reaper. That is unfortunate. Yeah, we just have no attacks here, right? We could get the Soul Reaper back. I don't know that we want to. It was the best card we had, but it's just so outclassed by most of our cards. We've basically drawn our entire low end, which means that anything we Omen later is likely going to be better. Sure. Yeah, we're kind of just stalled out here, which behooves us, I think, because we have a better late game. Still nothing to do here. Really just looking for another land. I guess we'll start exiling their yard just cuz. Obviously we'll wait till end of turn because there's a chance we want to drag. Can't attack or block, but I can still use its abilities, so no biggie there. Attack with your 3/4. I could just kill it, and there's a good chance I just should, because I have a Cataclysm coming out. I think I will. Okay, still looking for a land, but once we get a land, we've kind of got dominance. We're sitting on two 2-for-1s and then a better than that. So yeah, I guess this can't be blocked. Oh, I should have been attacking with this. That is my bad. I should read this card. Of course. That's so ridiculous. Could have attacked for the last 2 turns probably, and this is the turn that I can't. Gonna trade for the soldiers here. Just don't really care about that pilgrim. It's funny, I was so locked into thinking they were going to use that 3-man on the apathy that I didn't even consider that they had another card. Not that it's a huge loss, but it's just funny. I could have hit this for a life, but I just don't think it's worth it. Perfect. That's what we were looking for. So now we can't target the Courser because, exactly, they can exile that. But we can kill this Wayfarer, which is perfectly fine. Next turn we'll get the other one. At this point we can consider getting back like a Soul Reaper or something just to keep applying pressure. It really depends on what they do here. I think it's probably better to just hold this Omen for later because we're winning right now. It's just going to take time. And I think time is a luxury we have in this deck, so not really an issue. We just have a lot of low impact cards, you know. I mean, Drugolapli is great, and Heliod's Pilgrim, etc., etc. But yeah, we just have too many of those. So we'll trade here. I could sack it, do the whole thing, but I'd rather just trade and save this. And same with the Final Death. We just don't need to use it. I think we will Omen to get the Catoblepas back, though. Specifically because we have the Final Death. And we'll just play the Catoblepas here. And that's why. Yeah, so they're basically dead. I need to hit for one more. That's cute. I can Sentinel's Eyes. I think we'll actually just Final Death in response. Well, cool. According to my calculations, that is a full undefeated sweep of this traditional Theros Beyond Death draft. So we did it with our mono black deck, and it was a lot of fun. Our deck had a lot of play. It was pretty close in a couple games, though I noticed that overall there was just a lot of 3-color decks that were doing nonsense. And if I had one piece of advice to anybody watching this, it's make sure your deck just has a plan for surviving and or winning. There's so many decks we played tonight that were, the plan was to play one of their very few creatures and stack auras on it. It's like, that's just inherently bad against a set with so much good removal. Now our deck had an absurd amount of good removal, but ultimately there were just a lot of times that we won because people didn't get the right colors of their 3 or 4 color deck or what have you. And like you saw, there was a lot of power in our green and our white cards, but we didn't play them because ultimately we didn't need to. So anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be trying to release a lot of these pretty frequently, so stay tuned, and catch you next time.